Hey everyone, in this video I want to show you a micro framework that I made called Python CSS. Now Python CSS, or PyCSS, is a micro framework, like I said, that speeds up the process of writing CSS and makes it more programmatical and efficient. So it's kind of like SCSS, except it uses Python code. Okay, so to get started with this program, first we have to go to the GitHub repo jamencoder/PyCSS and download the code. I'll provide a link in the description. Download the zip. Then when you have it downloaded, you want to extract the contents of the zip file right here, or wherever you want. You want to open that folder, and then within that folder there is another folder called Python CSS. And this is the main program. This is where everything lives. So we're going to open that up, and then within here we have two files that we're going to focus on. The first one is app.py, which is where you're going to be writing your Python classes that translate into CSS classes. And then the other is compile.py, which is the program that actually turns the Python classes into CSS classes. So to write a CSS class with PyCSS, you just open app.py, which I have open in PyCharm, and then within app.py, there's a parent class called CSS Classes, and this is where you write all of your Python classes that will be translated into CSS. So I'm going to make a class that sets the background color to like a gray color and sets the text color to white. So I'm going to say class bg dark in camel case, and then I'm going to say background color is equal to hashtag 333, and then I'm going to set the color equal to white, and it is that simple. Now we come down here and we first we have to navigate to the directory of Python CSS, right? So Python CSS, yep, and now we run Python 3 compile.py, then we do -o to specify the output CSS file, and then I'm going to call it app.css, enter, and we have a new CSS file generated right here. We open it up, and we have a CSS class with a background color of hashtag 333 and a color of white, and the CSS class's name is bg dark, just like the Python class that we made up here. Now, let me explain how this works. So, all we did was, inside of CSS classes, we define a class with the name of our choice, in this case, bgdark, and then within bgdark, we have various CSS properties that we assign CSS values to. Now, in this case, we have the CSS property background color, and we assign the value hashtag 333. Or the hex color 333. Now, in normal CSS, to separate the words of the CSS properties, you use a dash, but that's invalid in Python, so we use an underscore, and then this gets converted to a dash when the program compiles this. Another thing to note is that if you are assigning to the CSS property a value that's anything other than a number, you need to enclose it in quotation marks. Another cool thing this program can do is inherit properties from other classes. Now, let's say I have another class down here. I'm going to call this, I don't know, we're going to call it dark flex div, and this is going to inherit from bg dark. So now, this class, when it compiles, it will have the background color of hashtag 333 and the color of white, but we can also add other properties to this class. So I'm going to say display is equal to flex. So now, if we compile this, right here, let's reload this, we have a dark flex div class with a background color of 333 and a color of white, same as up here, except the display is flex. Now I know this is not exactly best CSS practice to have repetitive properties. However, This is the first version of the program, and I will attempt to address this in later versions. Alright, that is the gist of the program. There are still a lot of bugs that need to be worked out. It crashes sometimes, and I'm not 100% sure why. It does not have support for media queries yet, but I do intend to add that in a future version. So, I hope that you found this program at least a little bit useful, and I hope you have a great day.